What would you do if a fish larger, faster, and more powerful than anything you've ever seen suddenly rose from the open Pacific? Out here, miles from land, there's no room for mistakes. One decision, one knot, 1 second of hesitation can determine whether a legendary giant Pacific sailfish becomes history or disappears forever beneath the waves. This is a reality aboard a massive industrial fishing vessel as it pushes offshore in search of one of the rarest and most extreme predators in the ocean. The day begins with a steady hum of engines as the vessel leaves the safety of port and heads into deep Pacific waters where giant Pacific sailfish are known to roam. These are not ordinary sailfish. Some grow dramatically larger than average, reaching sizes that push fishing gear, crews, and vessels to their limits. Every drum, hook cable, and winch must operate flawlessly before the crew can even think about facing a fish of this scale in open water. Industrial longline systems are the only tools strong enough for a battle like this, designed to endure crushing pressure, explosive speed, and relentless force. Inside the wheelhouse, the captain studies charts and sonar data, plotting a precise course along deep temperature breaks where giant Pacific sailfish hunt bait fish below the surface. On deck, steel dominates everything. Each component is engineered to withstand violent surges from a fish far larger than any typical sailfish. Soon, baited hooks will stretch across kilometers of open ocean, each one a silent challenge waiting for the wrong predator to accept it. Bright buoys are deployed to mark the hidden path of the long line, tracing an invisible corridor through the sea. Before any fish is encountered, the crew secures themselves, knowing the ocean can turn hostile without warning. A final mechanical test confirms the drum is ready, capable of absorbing the lunges of a giant Pacific sailfish unlike anything this crew has ever faced. As the vessel advances deeper into the Pacific, hours pass in watchful silence. Sonar begins to show subtle signs of fast-moving life below. Seabirds gather overhead, a classic signal that bait fish are rising, and where bait fish gather, predators follow. Schools tighten beneath the surface, forming the base of a food chain that often draws giant Pacific sailfish into striking range. One by one, hooks are baited and released. The long line stretches endlessly behind the vessel, forming a deadly corridor through the ecosystem. Each buoy marks a potential point of impact where a giant Pacific sailfish might test the system's strength. Once the gear is set, the ocean swallows a line, leaving nothing but floating markers and anticipation behind. Then it happens. A towering sail breaks the surface. Even a brief breach reveals something extraordinary. This giant Pacific sailfish is oversized in every way. Its elongated sail casts a shadow beneath the waves as it shadows a long line, studying the spread with calculated precision. It circles cautiously, testing distance and timing, leaping just enough to reveal its speed, mass, and intent. The crew watches closely as the giant Pacific sailfish mirrors the vessel's movement, waiting for the perfect opening. One measured jump confirms what everyone suspects. This fish is far larger than normal. A sudden burst of speed sends a shock of adrenaline across the deck. Even from a distance, the tail strokes reveal incredible power. Without warning, the line snaps tight. The battle begins. The giant Pacific sailfish seizes the bait and drives the system to life, pulling against the industrial long line with controlled but undeniable force. The winch absorbs each surge as men lean into the line, every knot and splice put to the test. The fish turns the fight into a three-dimensional chase, crossing beneath the bow as the sea behind the vessel boils. Despite fatigue, the giant Pacific sailfish keeps its sail high, a final display of dominance. Slowly its jumps grow lower. Circles tighten beneath the surface. The crew shifts from endurance to control, guiding the fish closer with synchronized movements timed to the ocean's rhythm. Each turn of the drum shortens the distance until exhaustion finally begins to show. At the stern, the landing platform is prepared. This is the most delicate moment of all. One wrong move could cost everything. The platform lowers into the water, designed to cradle the massive fish without injury. As it rises, the true proportions of the giant Pacific sailfish become undeniable. From bill to tail, it dwarfs expectations. Once secured on deck, locking pins prevent sudden movement. Heavy ropes cross its body as a precaution. The towering sail rises nearly to a man's shoulder, proof of its exaggerated scale. Careful rinsing begins the cooling process. process, preserving quality for market. Ice is built beneath it, matching the enormous footprint of the fish. Measurements confirm what everyone already knows. This giant Pacific sailfish is a rare specimen in both length and mass. Wrapped and protected, it moves into vessels' cold hold, becoming a preserved asset rather than just a trophy. Among a strong harvest, it stands out unmistakably. Back in harbor, buyers are already waiting. On the auction floor, the name alone draws attention. Prices climb as chefs and distributors compete for a fish few ever see. Soon, the giant Pacific sailfish begins its final journey to a top restaurant, where expert hands transform raw ocean power into fine cuisine. As plates reach tables, the story comes full circle. What began as a shadow beneath the Pacific becomes an unforgettable experience ashore. Meanwhile, the vessel prepares to sail again. Gear is cleaned, lines reset, and charts updated. For the crew, one legendary catches only a chapter in a much longer life at sea. The harbor fades behind them as the bow turns once more toward open water. Somewhere ahead, unseen beneath darkening waves, another giant Pacific sailfish glides through the depths, waiting.